So up till now we were using pixels for defining our grid columns and rows. Here I have 8 boxes. I have given 250 pixels each for columns and rows. So my result layout was this. If I am using grid, I want a responsive layout. And there was one disadvantage for using pixel, and that was that when I go and set this width to 90%, my layout will crash. There will be a gap here. I don't want this type of layout when I'm using grid, and when I am working on a production website I want a responsive, complete responsive layout. So in order to fix this, we have another unit in grid, and we can use percent instead of using pixels. So how it will work, it will just we will just go and just change all them to percentage, and I will go and change all that to percent. So now I got my complete layout, which is completely responsive. If I go and set my width to 400 pixels, it will still adopt that size no matter how narrow my layout is. And that's the beauty of using percent. But now here is one more problem. Here what we have to do, like someone said me, like go on and make this a six column layout. So in order to do that, what I have to do, I have to go and set that, okay, I have to open my calculator and I have to go and set that what's the I have to go and set that 100 divided by 6 is equal to 16.66, and I will just copy it and paste it here. So 16.66%, and I have to copy it 6 times. So this, and this. Okay. So now I have 6 columns, but I think you can't see that there is still a 1 pixel remaining here. Okay. That's because that 6666 it's just sum up to 99 point something, and there's a 0.1% remaining. But my idea was that you have to calculate those percentage every time. Like if someone said you go on and remove these 2 columns and make that one, you have to go and you have to calculate like 16.66 plus 16.66, it will give you like 33.32, and you have to go and remove those columns, and 33.32%. Now if I go to my layout, it's just this type of layout. I just want the middle column is twice the normal column. But the problem is, you got the idea that you every time you have to calculate those percentage. So now in order to solve this type of problem, we got another unit in grid called fraction. So if I the one fraction normally means one part of available space in the grid container. So I have defined one fraction for column, and one fraction for rows, and I am just currently removing these columns so that we can visualize it easily, and you can see that I am getting now 8 columns. It will be responsive no matter my width. If I go and set that to 700 width, it will be completely adaptive. And if someone told me like I have you can say 8 columns, and now this is, and somebody told me that you want for 8, I want 1 fr, it will be like this. And someone told me that remove those 2 columns and make it one, I just go and set that to 2 fr and remove those two, it will be twice the column. Now actually I have one item short, so there is a space here and my height is fixed, so it's not adapting the style. But the idea is that in order to merge those, I don't have to calculate the pixels again. I just go and set the 2 fr, 1 fr, 1 fr, and it just adapt the style. Here is one quick thing you have to keep in mind, that you can use fraction and pixels together. Like if I go and set this with 2000, so I can have more width here, and I just go and make those two fractions 600 pixels. So now if I go to my style, my layout is just like this. So here one thing to keep in mind is that the fraction works after pixel. So what CSS will do, CSS will remove those 600 pixels from the total width, and then the remaining width will be distributed between these two fractions. So no matter what, we have that 600 pixel and it will be fixed, and then the rest of 400 pixel will be divided into these two columns, and that's how you can use both pixels and fraction. Now I want to show you a utility of grid which comes very handy, especially in our case when we have to be redundant, like I have to call one fr, one fr. So instead of doing this, what we can do is call a function called repeat, and then how many type you want to repeat a single value. So I want 4, and then the value you want to repeat. So you can like replace this with repeat and to 1fr. So the resulting layout will be the same, and now you can add one more layout if you want, like I want 4 columns for 1fr and 1 column for 100 pixel. So this is the 1 column for 100 pixel, and rest are 4 columns for 4 columns of 1fr. So this repeat function comes in very handy when you want to repeat a specific value multiple times. Another thing that I want to show you is for the shorthand of this grid template column and rows. For that you can go and set that grid template, and the thing you have to keep in mind is that the first value is for row, so repeat to 1fr, and the second is for column. So for that you have to first put the forward slash, then repeat for 1fr and 100 pixel. And if I comment this code out, my layout will still be the same. Okay, so if I go, it is still the same, like I have like 4 columns and 100 pixel. If I remove those 100 pixel, I've got the same column height and width. Grid template shorthand comes in very handy, but I personally don't use that, just because I forgot most of the time that the first is raw, the second is raw, and whatever the thing is. So I most of the time I define it individually, but you can define it as a shorthand using grid template. So that's it for today, guys, and I hope you are enjoying this series. I just currently we have just covered all the basic properties and basic syntax of grid, and now we will move to some advanced concept like grid areas and how to name the line of the grid and things like that. And we will cover more basic stuff like gapping and all those things while working on those things. Currently I just want to show you all the necessary stuff, so that we when we learn those advanced stuff, the things will be very pretty easy to pick up. So hope to see you next time.